10 under-celebrated buddy cop movies that are brilliant. Buddy cop movies are like romantic comedies for the action lovers. The genre usually involves two drastically different cops coming together for a mission. Even though they start off by hating each other, eventually, they find their common goals and develop a fraternity that helps them look out for each other. Buddy cop movies have been a steady recipe for success, as the audience always loves the feel-good ambiance that is usually created in these movies. The stories of brotherly love packed with humor and action can put a smile on your face, even on the most horrible days. While there are some buddy cop classics that are celebrated by the fans, there are some underrated gems as well. In this video, we will take a look into some of these under-celebrated movies that are so amazing and will appease any fan of this genre. Hello there, everybody. Before we get into our list, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel and clicking the little bell icon up in the corner to get notifications. This is a small click for you, but means a lot to us. Thank you, and let's begin. Dead Heat, 1989. Two cops, Roger and Doug, take on some crooks who have been resurrected from the dead by some sinister plotter. As they face off with the undead criminals, Roger is killed in action. However, he too is resurrected, and it is now a battle of equals. Doug, with his undead partner, tries to hunt down the villain who is the root cause of all this mess. The indestructible goons are now at the mercy of an undead cop, but there is a slight catch. Roger has only 12 hours to solve the case, because after that, he would decompose. Let's get one thing straight. The movie is not for those who are looking for a serious cop flick. This is more of a tongue-in-cheek zombie flick that promises a lot of action and laughs. Remember to get the DVD version with the deleted scenes because some great scenes were butchered from the final cut. Trent Williams and Joe Piscopo play their roles to perfection as the two cops. Despite the bizarre plot, the film never fails to entertain with a fast-paced narrative. The scene in the Chinese restaurant is simply hilarious, and so is the butcher shop scene. The movie gives you a strong 80s vibe, and the effects do not disappoint considering the times. Overall, this is an ideal film to go for during a fun evening with friends.
Nice.
Showdown in Little Tokyo, 1991. The story revolves around two LA cops who have contrasting views on the means of upholding the law. When they are tasked with bringing down a drug lord, they must work together despite their differences. They must also protect a witness who will testify against the criminal. Can the cops put aside their differences and work together towards a common good? Okay, the story is half-baked and the script looks like it was written by a 3-year-old. Yet, the movie is entertaining to the core and is an 80s cheesy classic. To add to the fun factor, there is a bevy of good-looking women who are barely clothed. You have to take the lack of continuity and realistic scenery in stride. For instance, there is a scene where the protagonist sustains a gunshot wound and merely collapses his shoulders. After a few moments, there is no visible wound on him anymore. Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee, however, form a great action pair and share good chemistry. You have everything from gunfights to martial arts to gory deaths, and as long as you don't take it seriously, you are sure to have a good time. Black Rain, 1989. Two cops from New York manage to arrest a member of the Japanese mafia and are tasked with taking him to Japan. However, once in Japan, he manages to escape. A quest to find him takes the cops deeper into the Japanese mafia world, and soon they realize that the only way to get to the bottom of this case is to play it the Japanese way. They team up with a local detective, Masahiro, and together they bring the gang members to justice. This is a story that is riddled with 80s cop movie cliches. If you are a fan of such movies, this one will be a treat to watch despite some minor flaws. The two cops, played by Michael Douglas and Andy Garcia, have a very interesting chemistry brewing between them. There are fun moments, and there are those with extreme action scenes. The emotional and melodramatic musical score adds value to the otherwise lighthearted content. This is one of the more underrated works of the director Ridley Scott, but Black Rain is complete with some brilliant acting and cinematography. Filmed mostly in Japan, the movie has an intense atmosphere that draws you in from the moment you start watching. Made. Live or Die in L.A., 1985. Revenge stories served with a generous dose of action are a recipe for success, and this movie looks to exploit that tried and tested tactic. The story takes you through a journey of a Secret Service agent who seeks vengeance for his partner's murder. They were investigating a counterfeit report, and after his partner was killed, the agent lost all regard for law and order. Can he bring justice for his dead friend? The movie is a vintage 80s cop drama with all the elements for a great hit. The acting performances by Willem Dafoe as the villain is engrossing, and William Peterson and Dean Stockwell also do well for their parts. There are some unbelievable stunts in this film, and the famous car chase scene is one of the best to date. The movie offers copious amounts of nudity, and if the fight scenes don't get you, the babes will. There is a shocking twist at the climax that will leave you shell-shocked. In short, Live or Die in L.A. is a realistic plot woven carefully under some entertaining backdrops.
Now this is gonna hurt a little bit. Huh? I say this is gonna hurt a little bit. Okay. Oh! Jesus, that's incredible.
Blue Streak, 1999. What happens when a thief becomes a cop? The story of Blue Streak deals with this hilarious possibility, as the story starts off showing a former convict hiding a diamond in a building. Much to his shock, the building turns out to be a police station, and the only way to get his hands upon the diamond is to join the force. He joins as a detective, and before long, he is assigned to a case partnered with a naive detective. But a detective who can think like a criminal is a lethal force. If action comedies are your cup of tea, this movie will turn out to be extremely entertaining. The plot is simple, and despite being a little unbelievable, it manages to entertain throughout the runtime of the film. Starring one of the funniest comedians in the business, Martin Lawrence, the scenes are high on humor. Even Luke Wilson provides him with good support, and the acting performances are praiseworthy. Some scenes, like the one where Martin poses as a pizza delivery boy, will leave you rolling on the floor with laughter. You may have had the worst day at the office, but this movie will still manage to cheer you up.
What the fuck?
The Corruptor, 1999. The Corruptor tells the story of Nick Chen, a Chinese-born immigrant in the police force of New York. He is tasked with maintaining peace in Chinatown, but when a turf war goes out of hand, he struggles to maintain peace and sanity. He has to stop the drug trafficking and rampant corruption, and a policeman, Danny Wallace, is teamed up with him for this mission. Things take a difficult turn when the criminals attempt to bribe Wallace, and Nick must remain faithful. The interesting theme of the movie, where the East meets the West, is appealing to the audience. It might not be a masterpiece, but it still remains to be a solid crime thriller. The movie is rated R due to some strong violence and gore. Guns blazing and numerous fight sequences lighten up with the fast-paced plot. The subplots are also interesting and relevant, which helps to hold your attention throughout the movie. Chow Yun-fat and Mark Wahlberg are perfect in their individual roles, and fluent in the action scenes. There is a curious blend of Hong Kong action flicks and the Hollywood cop thrillers that make The Corruptor a must-watch.
You haven't got away with them yet.
I admire your confidence, Sergeant.
I admire yours.
The Guard, 2011. An FBI agent is sent to a small town in Ireland for the investigation of a drug trafficking case. There, he meets with a rather unorthodox Irish cop, who is poles apart from the uptight nature of the FBI agent. They must team up, covering their differences to bust the crime racket. But how much bonhomie can you expect from the duo? Despite being a light-hearted crime comedy, the story is strongly character-driven. The originality of the plot will appeal to those who are tired of the same old stories, put together in such movies. The dialogues are well written and add a bite to the scenes where the pleasant, unobtrusive music adds to the ambiance. Brendan Gleeson and Don Cheadle spar well as the script demands, and there is a strong Irish flavor in this film that you will grow to love. Right from the first scene, which provides an aerial view of the drunk driver cruising down the highway, there is no letdown in the excitement or the laughs. Enjoy this over a few beers, and there can't be a better movie night. End of watch, 2012. Brian and Mike are friends and partners as part of the LAPD. They patrol through a dangerous neighborhood and are extremely dedicated to their jobs. They do not always abide by the rule books, but their intentions are always good. They have an interesting chemistry and watch out for each other, but all hell breaks loose when they meet with an almighty Mexican criminal force. Can they outwit this superior power and retain their valor? You have to watch the movie to find out. There are many films that explore the underbelly of LA, and the director, David Ayer, is a master at work when he handles such works. The camera usage with POV angles, aerial shots, and chest-mounted cameras provides you with a close look at the cops in the line of duty. The story might be superficial, but the exciting scenes bunched together never allow a dull moment. The two protagonists are extremely believable characters who have a palpable chemistry that brings a smile to your face. Both Gyllenhaal and Pena act out of their skins for these roles, and the portrayal of the dichotomy of emotions by them is just perfect. If you are up for something real, raw, and gutsy, End of Watch is the movie to go for.
Knock this fucking gun out of my hand one more time. I'm gonna blow your fucking brains all over this fucking place, and I'll fuck that kid up right in front of you. You got that, nigga? Nobody. No, nobody. You got that?
Running scared. During a drug operation gone wrong, a gangster named Joey Gazelle is asked to get rid of a gun that killed a corrupt cop. After he hides the gun in the basement of his house, a young boy named Oleg steals the weapon and kills his abusive stepfather. Now, the entire mob is after the young boy, and so are the cops. Joey must find him first if he is to have any chance of saving him and retrieving the gun. The movie is right up there with the likes of Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction when it comes to the intensity. The plot never falters as it delivers one gripping twist after another. There is enough violence and gore to please the action lover in you. To add to the charm, you have some gratuitous nudity in the film. The credit goes to the makers as they managed to keep the story realistic all through the movie. The late Paul Walker is mesmerizing in his role, and the other members of the cast, like Vera Farmiga, support him in their best abilities. The climactic final scene is sure to take your breath away, and will remind you of your favorite cult classics. This movie deserves a watch by everyone who appreciates the genre.